Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm about to show you is something that I'm finally hearing from someone in a prominent position around the gun show loophole that Biden just pulled out of the hat in order to buy votes for the upcoming election. You know, that one. Because DeSantis, it must be back in his element in Florida, got some of that vitamin D from the sunlight, because he just nailed it in a way that DeSantis does, which is very easy to communicate. Everything I'm about to show you is linked in the description box below. Let me know what you think in the comments field. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on, because this is the message that we need to permeate into the pop culture across the board, because it is this simple. Without much more, let's get into the first one, because this is the stuff that I love to see. Let's get it.
There is no gun. This is typical propaganda. If I have a gun store and you come in, you're required to run a background check. If I bring my inventory to a gun show, I still have to do the same thing as a FFL. There's no difference between a gun show and being in your store. And so that is something that really I think is a myth. Clearly, they don't have legislation. They need legislation if they're going to do anything. So it's another example of Biden just acting through executive fiat. He's going to get struck down finally when the whole pistol brace rule, that's unilateral. He does not have authority to do this.
That is such a key point that he just brought up. Yes, of course it's propaganda. Yes, of course there is no such thing as a gun show loophole. It's overt propaganda. But more importantly, he brought in the inclusion of the executive bureaucratic state, which is basically allowing Biden to write laws from the executive branch whole cloth. That's exactly what he's talking about. So that's what he brings up. And then he pivots directly into another gun control ATF fiat executive order that was used to curtail pistol braces, which is about to be struck down, as he just said. The whole point here is he's highlighting exactly what this is. He's dispelling the propaganda and the myth that it doesn't exist because he can't be refuted. That is exactly correct. But then he's tying it to another example of the exact same thing. You've now got two instances which he's referencing all about ATF overreach from the Biden administration underneath the DOJ. It's perfect example of what's going on in our nation in all spectrum. He goes into the student debt relief, same kind of thing, Department of Education. He's utilizing the executive bureaucratic state to rule by fiat. That's what DeSantis is saying about Biden. That's important to understand. We are not talking about something that Congress passed. We're talking about something that the White House has consistently done for 4 years across the board, most of which has been struck down by the Supreme Court. But now let's get to the second one, because this is where the really fine detail comes in, and this is an excellent point. Listen to this.
I think that this is an example of, who governs our society. We have a constitutional system that was enacted at this country shortly after this country's founding. And it's very clear on who has the power to legislate, who is charged with executing those laws. What Biden is doing, and he's not the first president to do it, but what he's doing is he's taken the bureaucracy and this fourth branch of government, and he's using that to legislate without popular consent. And that's wrong. That is not the way we're supposed to be governed. And in this instance, it's obviously on a false premise, because people that have gone to gun shows know when you buy a fight, you do go through background checks. They can't they're not exempt from it just because they happen to be at a gun show. And that's been the law for a long, long time. But it's a symptom of a larger problem of governing by executive fiat, doing these executive orders through the bureaucracy when you can't get this done through Congress.
That is it in a nutshell. Other presidents have done it. Yes, they absolutely have, and it's not acceptable that they do. He's drawing parallels across the board. This is one of the things, and this is such a key point. DeSantis does this exceptionally well when he's speaking from the governor's podium in Florida. He does not do it exceptionally well when he's on the national stage for president. He ties different pieces of information together to illustrate a point. In this case, he's bringing forward the fact that the Biden administration is utilizing the bureaucratic state through the executive branch to write laws. That's a violation of our Constitution. That's a violation of the separation of powers. But they do it consistently. He brings in more examples: pistol brace rule, student debt relief, and now gun show loophole. He dispels the propaganda across the board of what they're saying and actually says correct information, which can't be refuted or fact-checked. And it then ties it directly back to ruling through the executive branch because you don't have the popular support of Congress. Everything that we're witnessing right now goes beyond gun control, goes beyond gun rights. That's why I'm always saying that the gun rights veterans, you and myself, are going to lead the charge into the rest of the population to take it back to where it should be, set it back to center. Because consistently, the things that they are doing on the left at a punching bag of gun rights is what they're trying to do across the board in all the other areas. This is incredibly important to understand because you guys are going to play a pivotal role in taking our country back to where it should be, our Constitution. But now, let me get to this one more thing, because I've got this last piece. It ties it all together nicely, and then we will go about our day and look forward to our next video.
I think it'll get challenged immediately, and I think it'll end up getting nixed because, look, they have debated legislating in this field for a long time, and they've not done it. So what? You have those, was that just window dressing, and yet a president can go issue new things? But let's just be clear on these gun shows, because you have these narratives and these talking points. You go to a gun show, and all those people that are set out there with that, like every one of them must do a background check before they sell you the gun. That's just the truth.
It's just the truth. But again, the point here is going back to the constitutionality of the entire thing. You, watching this video, are more powerful than you think that you are. You start talking and speaking with confidence around these topics in a calm, controlled manner where you don't need to shout, you don't need to use profanity because you have everything that you need right here. You will win this, and you will show everyone that you're talking to you are confident in the topic and you are backed up by constitutionality. As we move forward, understand this is going to permeate from the gun rights, gun control fight into the broad politic general. That's why I'm doing the podcast, Positively American, because everything that we've exhibited together for the last 3 to 4 years is pushing directly forward into the main population, and we will impact the change that we're looking for. Let me know what you guys think in the comments field, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.